Or to double tap. Let's get back to 10K and put FYP in the chat. I apologize for the interruption. Thank you for. I wish mine would stop hurting. All right, y'all. So I was talking about Mica's official coroner's report that was put out today. Both the coroner's report and the coroner's diagram was lately was released today, and I went over both of those before the live went down. And did anybody in here miss me reading the reports? If you did, put a 1 in the chat. Okay, a lot of y'all. All right, I'll redo it. But before I do it, before I go over everything again, I want to draw your attention. I will, Cam, after I get through with this. I brought this chart up because I thought this would be helpful for those of you who don't know much about ballistics and the way that firearms work. There's another thing that I want to do, that I want to show y'all. Or actually, I want y'all to hear it. But I'm going to talk about this first. So, if you look at this chart. Yeah, I can, Michelle. I just got to watch what I say. So, like I said, if you look at this chart, it shows you the entrance wounds and the exit wounds of specific types and calibers of weapons, ammunition. And if you look, a .22 is going to be the smallest, both entrance and exit.
And it rarely exits. 22 like to stay a while. Get comfy. Make yourself at home.
Then you have a .380, a 9mm, and the 9mm is the caliber of weapon that Mica used.
Allegedly.
Or let me say this, is the caliber of weapon that Mica purchased. Okay? It is a 9mm. Now you see on the bottom, the exit wounds, the difference of the point of entry and the point of exit.
That 9 be clean, but that 45 does it every time.
Not too much of a difference. It did not say in the report what caliber the wounds were consistent with. This is at point blank range, correct? Now, I want y'all to listen very closely to what I'm about to play. Very closely listen.
This is Natasha Cooper.
Okay. Did everybody hear that?
Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Get it, girl.
All right.
You can say what you want to say. Natasha, don't play.
Did that sound like a pop?
Sound like a pop, lock it, drop it. And I got this on sped up a little bit.
Okay.
So imagine how long the pauses are in real time.
Listen to this. Do you hear the difference? Huh? Okay.
So, for one, we're going to have to get some pizza.
I don't want to talk about it right now.
Why?
Because I'm live.
And?
Because I'm talking about something important. We ain't got to talk about that
This
right
is more important than that.
No, it ain't.
You can get my first car.
Go
I
on.
think it is.
now. Nope. Truth Warrior. I don't know how many cameras were on the.
He said this is more
the trail.
important than that. I don't know who that was.
Now back to what I was saying.
But shout out to him.
Lord Jesus. Yeah, that's my 16-year-old. Could you tell
okay.
the difference?
He bossy.
What I just let you listen to was a 22.
If I need to go on hold, that sis.
No, it wouldn't sound like a pop if it was underwater. Listen to the sound. That it makes. Now this is the 22 that I'm about to play right now. This is what a 22 sounds like. I have two, Kentucky. 22. Pop, 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 pop. Thank you, Joyous, thank you. It sounds like firecrackers. Now, listen to this again. Listen to this. That was a 9mm. Well, Maddie, don't come in if you think it's pretty repetitive. People just kill me. Correct, Case Mama.
I wouldn't even say nothing to him, but
Do you hear the echo?
I like when she be cussing him out, though. You better say that. Alright.
The echo that a 9mm gives off would have traveled all the way across that place. And if that 9mm had went off as close to the fisherman as he was, he'd have been up a tree or in the water.
That's a fact.
Because every one of them would have thought they was hit.
That's really the thing about nines. They loud. People just somebody made.
I wanted to play these because I wanted to help people understand who aren't familiar with weapons what the difference is and how different the sounds are.
It's them 380s and them 357s and them 40 odds that I lied.
B, which one did you want me to play again? Y'all, I am so glad that this has helped some of y'all. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping that this chart and the weapon sounds would help y'all to understand the difference in the sounds and what it would have sounded like.
Good job, Tasha.
So I'm going to play a 22 and a 9mm. Now this is just an
Now this line, I believe this is from last night. I was on at the end of it, and while I'm sitting over here cutting up garlic cloves, child. Although I should know a faster way to do it by now, I'm cutting up garlic. All right, But we're going to talk about that later. But when I'm cutting up this garlic, we're going to listen to this. Because I came in probably 2-3 hours in. So, and I have not read the medical exam report yet. I just I didn't believe it was authentic. And we're going to put this up in sections and in pots and everything. Because my phone is already almost full. And I don't have time to be doing all that fancy editing. So, yeah. But, yeah, let's go.
This is an open shot. And what I mean by open shot is that it's not in close proximity to a target. Yeah, a 22 would have went through at close range.
Maybe. I'm gonna say maybe. Because, again, 22's like to chill. And, my son was shot at close range under, oh, dang. I'm not supposed to say that. SHOT word. But it was underneath his chin, and it stopped. I have the actual x-ray. The little thing that be traveling, it stopped right at his brain. Literally. But it shattered that jaw, though. Yeah, he still ain't learned that.
If you are new here tonight for the first time, would y'all put a 1 in the chat, please? Trying to see if we've hit the FYP yet.
Dang, I wish I was there so I could put a 1 in the chat.
Thank y'all for getting us to 20,000 taps. Oh, awesome. Very, very glad to have everybody here. Make sure to follow the channel if you haven't already.
Yes, sir. You better. You go and get that good
I go live
stuff.
every night, and we talk about...
I don't know what the people be talking about Natasha. Everybody don't have to be your cup of tea, and I know that they got some stuff up from the past and all that, but who cares? Everybody got a past. They don't got nothing to do with this case. She's a true crime reporter, and I didn't find her until this case, and she's my number one on as far as this case is concerned. I'm gonna tell you that now. She don't come on here every day. Oh, and this person is this and that, and oh wait, look, did you see that? And somebody's in the car with Mica, and I'm not saying. I'm just saying this is what y'all be doing. A lot of y'all. I mean, a lot of y'all. Every day it's a new speculation, and it be repetitive and massively repeated. And Tasha just come bringing them facts, and this is in depth. Your TikTokers and your YouTubers don't be doing this. They don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. That's why y'all be out here speculating, because there's a lot you don't know, and you're not gonna look for. And an experienced true crime reporter is schooling you right now. She helping you out. Come on, get some.
Crime. We are currently discussing the Mica Miller case. We're going to go over again her the coroner's report and the coroner's body graph in a few minutes. Once I finish this. So, as I said,
I'm not editing. My face isn't on either. So, yes, you're going to get a lot of commentary. You don't like it. So what? Okay? You know what I mean? Platforms, they got their protocols and all that. So, that's what we doing.
The chart on the screen is a chart.
You can always go and find True Crime with Natasha Cooper on TikTok. You can find her on Rumble, and when there's a live she does on TikTok, and yes, I just found this out last night because I was looking for the lives. TikTok don't save the lives, but the creator can, and she does, and then she posts them on her Rumble. And I've been up for the second time, and these ladies are nice, and we be having good conversations about this case. And yeah, we be talking about y'all. Okay, you want to hear something? You want to hear us talking about y'all? We be talking about y'all. Y'all know I be talking about y'all because I talk about y'all on my own channels. But we be talking about y'all. I do. It's a lot because y'all be talking about Natasha. And y'all be doing other stuff, but you see.
To help you better understand what the entrance and exit wounds look like in specific weapons. Now, these wounds that you see up here, these entrance and exit patterns, these are full metal jacket bullets, not hollow point. And you can see that the 9mm, which is the type of weapon that she purchased, is there at the top. That's what an entry wound would have been similar to. And then the exit would have been similar to the one on the bottom that says 9mm.
And I'm literally...
And all of the others correspond with the weapon that they came from.
I'm literally looking at both types right now beside me. And if you guys aren't sure... Remember that movie, Full Metal Jacket? Boy, that movie was crazy. But if you're not familiar with what that means, Full Metal Jacket and hollow point, look that up. You'll be interested in what the findings are of that, and you'll find that there are all types of bullets. Yeah, those things and the other things, and they match up once they are wed. Okay, once they wed and they shoot out a baby, the baby is the product of the thing that travels and the thing that it travels through. It puts its lotion on its skin with the DNA, and if that casing or baby came from the mother's womb, it will match up. Yeah, there's ways about that too, but you gotta do your research. Okay, so we need a report, because I only caught like portions of the last end of it. We need a full report that, has names, okay, of people who are involved with the report, and it has specifics. Like, are you saying that the mother, father, and the baby all match with what Mica purchased? No, did you say that? Because we didn't hear you. Can we hear you?
Now, nowhere on any of the information that was released today does it say that the bullets or the wound track or anything else was consistent with the weapon that they found.
Bro, I did not listen to this before, but I mean, it is what it is.
There is nothing mentioned about it being the same weapon.
No, it sure won't. And that's a problem.
Thank you, Ace. I try to be.
Because that's how you solve the case.
So the reason that I'm playing these weapon sounds.
Oh, but they didn't do an investigation. So how you doing the whole medical exam report and you come to a conclusion and there's no investigation, and even on your report it doesn't show how y'all just out here acting like people act on social media about the case, huh? That's where they got it from? Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Is because the fisherman said he heard a loud pop. A loud pop. I knew as soon as he said that he didn't hear a 9mm.
He wouldn't describe
it. Nope, Lisa, we don't. Correct, Uptown Girl.
Nah, we don't do no pops with no nines, baby.
Correct, MJ. So this is what a 9mm sounds like. Yes, the measurements on the reports are the size of the wounds. Yeah, I think there's some typos going on the report. But this is the sound of a 9mm.
That'd be it.
It's almost as if there is an echo.
That'd be it.
But it's just the sound carrying. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. It's just the sound carrying. They did hear a sound, Jen. They all heard the same thing. All right. Now, this is the sound
Don't talk to
of
Jimmy Crack Corner.
Wrong one.
22?
Sorry, got the wrong one again.
And this is an example. You should play it for yourself so you can hear, more.
This is for all you soy boys out there who keep saying that this is a fucking BB gun. Is that a fucking BB? Does that look like a fucking BB to you? Or are you just going to keep being a fucking soy boy?
I don't even know what that means. All right, here we go. This is a 22. Yes, it would have echoed. Hey, autism. You hear the difference? No, this is a 22 pistol. A 22. So let me find I didn't get a 45, but I think I've got one just to show y'all the difference. It literally, a 22 sounds just like a
Certain firecracker.
firecracker.
Yeah.
All right, so
There's an echo there, but it's
this is a 45.
That's
Loud.
Yeah, that's the one, boy.
All right, let me do a 380.
Yeah.
All right, that was a 380.
They don't have an exit on the picture for the 380.
Loud. I'm gonna do a 38.
Oh, yeah,
We're gonna go through all of them, I
it's
reckon.
beside 22.
This is a 38.
That's that Grim Reaper right there.
Turn the TV down a little bit.
Question
Hey,
with
Natasha.
Hey.
Okay, because my husband, like, down here, I told you we hunt and everything, so I'm letting him see this. And I told him, I said, she purchased the 9mm. And so he heard the shot. And as you're playing the other shots, which one did you say?
Oh, it's going to go in the woods.
No, that's going to go straight.
A 22 full metal jacket.
A 22 full metal jacket.
Yeah, it'll go straight through. That's what I said.
Yes. And he said that
Any gun you buy has got a rifling in the barrel, so they can take any type of fragment and see if it comes what if the gun that was laying there.
Absolutely, they got ballistics, but I don't even think they did it.
That's what I'm saying. Every gun, that's why all guns come with empty bullet casings in there, because they record the rifling of the barrel in case it's used in a crime.
Yeah, there's nothing in this report that says anything about what type of weapon.
Like I say, it wouldn't have been nothing higher than a 9mm, because a 45 would have blew half her head off.
I know. I'm just.
he don't know how to speak on TikTok.
I'm just trying.
He said, "Oh, I didn't know we was on TikTok."
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to, because a lot of people aren't familiar with weapons.
Well, and I wanted them to hear what he said, so that maybe that would help anybody in the chat
What
understand.
did he say, though?
Well, and the reason he said that, y'all, is look at the 45 exit wound on this graph up here.
But we already see that. I mean, thank you, but yeah.
That would have been. I mean, it's basically would have been obliterated. Personally, I think that.
He just said that he thinks personally it's a 380, but the pawn shop.
It was either
Is that on
22.
record?
It was either 22 or 380. I don't know which.
I haven't
but I
seen
think
the
that's what he heard
report,
the shot
so I
from.
can't chime.
Well, yeah.
One or the other. I don't know which one, but I think it was one.
22 chipmunk, and it's
They sound pretty similar.
It's barely louder than a pellet gun. A 22.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, that's about what, because from the distance he was to where she was, that's about the sound that you would have heard from either one of those. Would have been a loud pop.
Yeah.
The way the water would have echoed, and off of those trees.
That's what I told her. It's just according if it was any gullies or anything like that around.
It was just wooded.
No, it's not. It's just woods.
So all woods, like I said, it'd have had a different look.
Big
It'd
woods,
have
too.
muffled it out a little bit by the trees, but
North Carolina.
Yeah, I think
big woods.
just based on, and I talked to Johnny about this, and he agreed with me that the sound he heard was not a 9mm.
no, that's what I say. Anything 22 or 380, and it'd been a low grain bullet, probably to make just a slight pop, you know.
Yeah.
Like I say, you can buy 22 chipmunks. We used to go coon hunting, and 22 chipmunks is barely louder than a pellet gun.
And some of them dang pellet guns they've got where they make them loud.
Oh yeah,
You have to say pew pew on here.
bang bang.
He said bang bang.
I guess that's what I need to start saying too.
It's closer to
Well, thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, before he went to bed, because he was looking at all this, and I wanted, to help. Because I'm confused on, I don't
but
know none of it myself.
he's just
And he was sitting here
reiterating what
explaining
she's
everything to
already
me. I said, and that's what
showing,
she's helping the chat. I was like, if I get up there, will you stay? And he said, yeah. He said, I'll help, anybody.
Yeah, 'cause the reason that I played the sounds and I'm showing this chart is because so many people aren't familiar with weapons. And
They not.
if you're not familiar with the weapon, you don't.
That.
The only current there is a undercurrent that is very slow.
This way, son.
And for all of you saying that y'all think that she did this herself,
Okay. Now we're
Patient.
pulling out the papers.
concern for foul play and an autopsy
Dang,
was
did I go
not
too
warranted.
far?
Let me find I didn't.
Oh my God.
Okay, what are we doing now? Dead air.
Scott, I'm very well aware that the fisherman heard one shot. I don't know why I cannot. Here we go. This is a 22. Hey, Griffin, I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
Heard it.
Fisherman, every single person. Okay, first of all, there will be no arguing in my chat.
I mean, y'all chill out. Jeez. Worse than you.
And anybody who's doing so will be removed. I don't care who you are.
Out of here.
All right. Now, this is the, well, you know, and I'm going to say this, Truth Warrior. You can say that the fisherman isn't credible all you want to, but we have nobody else to go on.
Right.
So y'all can pick the man apart and say what he says is not true all you want to, but everybody there gave statements and they were all consistent. Every single person.
Consistency is key.
And if any of you are here to stir up crap, cause drama,
Out of here.
or act ridiculous, well, you ain't spoke with much. Yes. All right, I'm turning the comments off again.
Y'all in time out over there. Badass.
All right, so this is the diagram that came out today of the wounds and the coroner's report that was released. This is the body diagram that they do upon intake. And they go over the entire body, and they are supposed to make note of anything that is specific to the body. Scars, anything of that nature. So that is what this is for. It's a way for them to take note of tattoos, body markings, you know, anything that stands out as specific to this person. It's also a way for them to list the wounds. So we're going to start to your left over here. And it says irregular exit wound. 4.5 inches from midline of head. Now there's some discrepancies as to whether this is supposed to be 11 by 16 inches or if it's supposed to be 1/16 of an inch by 5/16 of an inch. I don't know if it is a typo or not. And then it says that blood is present in the auditory canal. So the exit wound is on the left side of the head.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible.
Now we're going to go to this one. And it says entrance, 4.5 inches from midline of head. 1.5 inches by 1/2 inch entrance.
Sloppy reporting.
Wound with black particulate material deposited along edges of wound and within the wound. And an associated circular muzzled imprint. Blood is present in auditory canal. They do not specifically mention the caliber of weapon or anything related to it.
I guess they're waiting on social media to say it so they can be like, yeah, what they said.
They also do not mention any stippling. Which I found interesting. Then if you look down at the back of the body, it talks about her tattoos. And then it says she has closed skull fractures, 2 of them, on the left side of the back of her head. And she has several minute post-mortem wounds consistent with retrieval from river and brush, including briars. There are no briars down there. I'm just going to say that again. There are no briars down there.
Stick of briars.
All right. Now we're going to go to the front.
They're talking about sticker
She has another
bars?
closed skull fracture in the front of her head. It mentions her eyebrow tattooing, and then she had circumferential periorbital contusions under both eyes, which is basically just black eyes. And then it talks about her tattoos. No mention of bruising anywhere other than her eyes and the scratches on her hands. Now, somebody asked if these particular places that the fractures are located are consistent with the type of weapon that was used, or that we assume was used, in her unaliving. And the only thing that I can say about that is that I don't know if there is a typical injury from this. It depends on the angle. It depends on so many things. I don't know. I'm not a forensics expert. I'm not a ballistics expert. I'm just somebody who likes true crime and does my best to bring y'all as much information as I can that's accurate. I will say this, and this is all I'm going to say. There are several things on this diagram, in my opinion, that are questionable. And I'm not going to go into details about that. All right, now I'm going to read to you the actual coroner's report. All right, it says, medical examiner preliminary summary of circumstances surrounding death. Decedent is a 30-year-old female who was visually identified by law enforcement through photo ID. According to the decedent's family, they had tried to call and text on 4/27/24 without success. The decedent was last known alive, listen to this, visually by surveillance camera at a gas station at 4135 South Highway 41 in Mullins, South Carolina. Zero mention of an eyewitness who saw her there. None. Now, the information that has been given to the medical examiner comes straight from law enforcement. So if somebody at the park had told law enforcement that they saw her there,
right,
that statement would be different.
Yep.
So according to this, we have our answer. She was last seen alive visually by surveillance camera at 41 Grocery and Grill at 1:35 p.m.
That means that whole... she passed the man, he said hello, she said hi. Yeah, people make up stuff all the time.
And verbally, per her conversation with the 911 dispatcher, in which she asked if the dispatcher could see her location. She voiced to the 911 dispatcher that she was about to unalive herself and wanted her family to be able to find her. The dispatcher confirmed the phone number of decedent and location as Lumber River State Park. Law enforcement was notified and began searching at the park. The decedent's phone was pinged, and law enforcement had drone dispatched to the area. The Verizon phone carrier was notified for location verification. The decedent's car was identified at Lumber River State Park in the parking lot secured. Law enforcement found in the vehicle a 9mm SIG hard gun case and receipt showing the weapon was purchased at Dick's Pawn Shop in Myrtle Beach on 4/27. Law enforcement also confirmed that the weapon was purchased with the decedent's debit card. At 4:23 p.m., law enforcement was alerted by a kayaker that a body was found in the river. Law enforcement was also given a black bag with ID and money that was found on the bank of the river by a person at the river. Law enforcement recovered 2 spent casings and 1 live round on the bank of the river. The regional pathologist was called to the scene for assistance. The decedent was found prone, submerged in the river beside tree limbs about 100 feet from the casings. No sign of physical struggle at location of casing. Decedent was removed from the water by law enforcement in a boat and brought to the bank of the river. The bank of the river was muddy and had heavy brush with briars. That is not true. The decedent had dirt and debris on her hands and clothing.
Sticker bars?
A 9mm SIG was removed from the river approximately 5 feet from the bank using a magnet and serial number on the pew-pew matched the pew-pew case found in the decedent's car. Medical records documented that the decedent was hospitalized on 11/29/2022.
When he say briars, did he mean sticker bars? I mean, sticker bars, we grew up with sticker bars in North Carolina, but I'm not gonna stick about expert. We just knew to stay away from. I know how they come out. It's in certain conditions in certain times of the year. But will they be out when the water's full and be gone when the water's down? I don't think so. But I don't know. And that's if he told. What did he mean briars? Why he gonna say briars like everybody from around there?
And 12/5/2022 on unaliving precautions for bipolar 1, recurrent manic episodes, tetrahydrocannabinol dependence, and dependent personality disorder.
That doesn't make
The decedent was hospitalized from 2/7/2024 until 2/12/2024, secondary to emergency protective custody by her therapist. Medical records stated 2 prior mental health hospitalizations and a previous unaliving attempt with a firearm. Records on 2/7/2024 also state that Delta-8 gummy consumption and increased paranoia with bizarre behavior. The decedent's family did confirm her previous unaliving attempt by firearm. On April 4th, 24, on April 24th, 2024, decedent records stated she was seen and given prescription for hydroxyzine for anxiety. The regional pathologist assisted and examined the decedent. The exam was consistent with the reported incident. Upon further consultation with the office of the chief...
Who told him it was for anxiety? I mean, I'll take it. Mainly around this time of year. And it's interesting because when they were talking about it during that segment, that's when I, hopped on and started listening. I was about to take a dose. And I did. But it's because I got attacked by mosquitoes. And, the effects I have from it is major. So that's why I take it during the season. But it's antihistamine. How does that work with anxiety? I don't know. I gotta look further. But a standard search didn't correlate that with anxiety. So,
Chief medical examiner and law enforcement, there was no concern for foul play, and an autopsy was not warranted. Now, as I said, if there had been an eyewitness that the sheriff's office had spoken to when they were there that day, that eyewitness would have been listed as the last person or visual contact with Mica. None was mentioned. And the woman who came in here last night and wanted to argue with me and said that she was there at the park every day and she saw the Rangers go in and get the body, this report says that the police went in and got the body.
She said Rangers?
So, again, I'm going to open up for comments and questions, and I'm going to open the panel.
Put on his Power Ranger suit?
Do not make statements as fact unless you have facts to back it up. Do not argue with me or anybody else in the chat. Be respectful, and you will be respected. I have zero tolerance for drama and nonsense. And tonight is one of those nights that I am zero tolerance for sure because my head hurts.
Y'all coming up or what?
And I'm still talking about it.
Huh?
Idea as far as what I think about how her body ended up where she was. Emily, I'm the only one that I'm aware of that's received a cease and desist, and I'm still talking about it. No, it does not show bruising on hands. So, as far as the my answer to how I think the body got 100 feet away from the pew-pew in the opposite direction of the current, it's real easy. Mm-hmm. Somebody put her there.
Right.
Because there's no other way physically possible that she got to that location unless somebody put her there. A body does not float in the opposite direction of the current.
It's not a cartoon, y'all.
And unless there is some toothless alligator back there that decided to push her body into the back area of the slough so that there are no bite marks or predation, then there's no way that happened.
It needs its brain. And the brain.
Ashley, we don't know. Okay, so let me answer these questions. We know nothing about the crime scene. Nothing about the crime scene. But I will show you the map that I made after going here myself and getting coordinates of where everything happened. Okay, so this is the map that I made. Can y'all see it okay?
Yep.
And let me say this. The closed skull fractures absolutely can be from the pew-pew wound. The amount of pressure that goes inside the skull at the time of impact can definitely cause skull fractures. All right. So correct, Case Mama. The red dot is where her phone pinged. The pink dot is where her belongings were located. And it was 180 feet between the two. Christy, it has officially been ruled a self-unaliving. So 180 feet between the phone ping and the belongings. Her belongings were found in the middle of one of these service trails, laid out neatly. Her purse was first, then her phone, then her sunglasses, laid neatly in a row in the middle of a service road. And for all of you saying that y'all think that she did this herself, okay, explain to me how. That has curves in it.
I don't hear no dinner cooking.
The only current there is a undercurrent that is very slow that moves back towards the river. The yellow dot is where the weapon was found. That is correct, Lady Luck. From my understanding, the FBI has never been investigating her unaliving.
Right.
The only thing they have been looking into are things about JP, the church, the attorney, the financial records, and the trip to Africa. I agree, Jess. And I've said this for the last few nights, and I feel the need to say it again. I do not think that justice for Mica is going to come in the form that most people think it's going to. This scene where this happened, y'all, has been completely compromised. There was no autopsy. There were no gunshot residue testings done. They didn't do a test on her lungs to see if there was water in them. They did no scrapings underneath her nails. They literally did the absolute bare minimum that they had to do in order to get this closed. And unfortunately, the evidence that may have been there has been completely ruined.
These are facts.
No, lady.
Been able to catch you like maybe 10 minutes in the last 3 days. But I was just curious, did they say if the bullet was of 9mm?
Nope, nothing.
Okay,
Oh,
and I saw the measurements a little bit on the chart of her readings.
Basically, like somebody pinned her there.
Yeah. Almost like they thought even the current would take her, knowing that it wouldn't, but
They pinned her.
I think, and this is simply my opinion.
So why would
This
they
is simply my opinion.
occurrence.
I think that whoever did it wanted her to be found.
I think that too.
There's no way she drifted with a log.
That's what
This is what you're not understanding. That is impossible, y'all. You can't drift in the opposite direction that the current is moving. It is physically impossible.
Y'all can go out there and
If
try
that's the case, if she got stuck on a log somehow, it would have pushed her towards the river,
Can you set up a tripod so we can
not
see?
backwards. I don't know how many times I have to say that. I just wish people would listen.
I literally wouldn't
What
say it
was the
again.
name of the rug that you said could possibly be used and it wouldn't be in her system after a certain amount of time? What was the name?
Retinol.
Thank you. I've been trying to think of that for 2 days now.
For those of you who are just coming in, they released the toxicology, they released the coroner's report, and the coroner's body graph. Stippling, Crystal.
How do you know how long it takes that to be out of your system with no
It
trace?
depends on your weight and several other things, but it's 2 to 4 hours usually.
Is it usually typically injected?
No, not always.
They could get it through the stomach.
All right, let's see.
I haven't had a chance to read the report itself.
Did you have something that you wanted to say? 2 baked blondes? Hello? The toxicology report was negative. Clear. Nothing found.
Niente.
Hey, Natasha.
Hey.
So, my question-
Rehypnol, let me say this really quickly. Rehypnol is the most commonly used date grape drug. And it is odorless and tasteless.
It's scary.
All right, Donna, what was you saying, babe?
All right, so my question is, if in a report it said that the last time she was seen alive was at the gas station, then where does the man on the trail seeing her smile and wave come in?
That's exactly what I said when I was reading it.
So then that can't be the truth, or they have.
That's exactly what I said. That right there corroborates the fact that he did not give a statement to the sheriff's department about anything that was said.
Okay, well that's all I wanted to point out and ask.
And that means that all of his other statements are also bullshit. And it infuriates me.
Me too.
Are we
Because-
trusting that the report is through and through? I mean, I know they did a shitty
Right.
job at doing a whole workup, but are we trusting that what's in the report is what's happened?
We
Yeah,
can't.
because the information in that report came straight from the police. They have everything else. If they had an eyewitness, it would have listed the eyewitness as the last point of contact.
Right.
So now that means that that man, that's this maintenance man, said he saw her, she went to the boat landing, it was too crowded, so she walked in the other direction, and he saw her and she smiled and waved at him, and all of this mess that he said. He is also the same person
He wanted attention.
that said the fisherman
Poor
left and
fella.
came back on a different vehicle that everybody believed because the information came from that private investigator. And I have been saying,
And that's why I say he wanted attention, poor fella. Okay, he thought he was really gonna be the man. He was doing interview tours and everything because Mr. Jacobs said he did not. That did not. It was the next day. So y'all chose not to believe it, but okay. And this is the same guy that say, "Oh, I peeped out, said hello. She was so pleasant. She said hi." And then, she went up there and she was like, "Well, man, I'm going to go this way because it's too many people there." And then he come to see that many people. And he was like, "Oh, okay, all right." Or he read her mind. I mean, it could have been that too, but yeah, no.
Since then, that it was not true because I talked to the fisherman. He left and went to the gas station and came back on the same vehicle with the same boat in the back of his truck,
Same.
pulled up next to the deputy that was there with the drone and gave him Mica's belongings.
Boats and
The
drones.
deputy can corroborate
Boats and
that
drones.
Johnny did not come back on a car. But nobody wanted to listen to that. They wanted to listen to this maintenance man who has said all kinds of things that don't even make sense.
Can he maintenance? Can he do his maintenance job? Can we see?
And instead of sticking with the facts and the information that we have, people want to blame anybody and everybody because they don't know who to blame and they need somebody.
They shouldn't be blaming nobody.
To be responsible for this, but you can't blame innocent people.
Right. They shouldn't be blaming nobody.
I have kind of another weird thing, and I don't know why I'm even thinking about this, but okay.
Hold on the Tuesday. Hang on just a second. Hang on. Daisy Mae, the maintenance man was first brought into it by Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia, and then Kyler and the PI that works with her did an interview with this man, and he is also the man that took the PI that worked with Kyler down there and gave him all of this information. M. Perez, the 2 contusions under her eyes are from the force of the shot to her head. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So we know she was going to go get her hair done on Tuesday.
Correct.
We know she asked for money to take care of her car situation. She had the money to buy the pew-pew, and she had money left over. And now it's, like, coming up aware to me, like, in the body graph or whatever, she had her eyebrows tattooed, like, to me, if you're broke, as you say, like, as they're portraying her out to be, you're not getting your hair done and having your eyebrows microbladed and...
Wait a minute.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Wait.
Do you think that she possibly could have been...
So who said she got her eyebrows microbladed that day? I don't think nobody said that. It's just pointing out that the eyebrows are tattooed. Okay, so slow down, baby. It's okay. It's gonna be alright.
Hiding money or
Absolutely.
legit money?
It's called DJP money. I mean, we don't know. I'm not speculating on.
I'm pleading the fifth.
That.
Okay, that answers my question.
I will say this. I think that anything at this point is a possibility.
Tasha,
By being positive, we do not know if there was any blood residue at the scene that has not been released. We don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Tasha, I wanted you to, because I've never heard of that, so I would like you to kind of explain what it was. But at the beginning, I believe it was towards the, after you did the picture and you started talking about the report, you said that something about an S word, and then you were like, it's not down here.
I was talking about stippling.
Yeah, what is that? Sorry, I don't know what that is. And if you can explain so I understand it better.
I'll explain it. All right.
All right, thanks, love.
Yeah, no problem. So stippling is when a pew-pew wound is close to the skin, and it burns the surrounding tissue. You usually see it in every wound that's, point blank or anywhere close, because of the amount of heat that comes out from the barrel of the pew-pew when the bullet is ejected. So they do not mention anything about stippling in this report. They do mention that there is black residue. But the only thing it says is that wound with black particulate material deposited along edges of wound and within the wound. I ain't never heard no such.
Usually I just hear it called powder without
Well,
word.
that's what it should.
Okay, that's why I was like, I wonder what that is. I'm going to ask her because I was like, I don't know what that. Okay, so I appreciate you explaining that. Now I understand a little better.
Basically, so let me make. Okay, so when you have a point blank wound, the GSR that comes out of the end of the PP will literally burn the powder into the skin. I don't understand why they worded this the way they did. Is what I'm saying. This is like whoever wrote this is new or something. I just don't know.
Dispatcher.
Yes, Kimberly, yes. That's what I was trying to say it without saying it. Jeez, take every wheel.
Well, and the thing about it is like, I was in your live last night and I didn't get on to the panel, but I'm like, anytime that there's a situation like this, whether they feel it's an unaliving or not, whatever the circumstances, regardless, there should be a law in our country
Yes.
that regardless of what the
Must be
circumstance is,
investigated, yes.
there needs to be testing done on hands.
Well, they're not going to do that because that's too much. They're never going to do that. I mean, you're not going to. I agree, but they're not going to do it because it costs too much money.
I don't care.
Natasha, what does it say behind?
They spend money on stuff.
I can't see because the panel.
Exactly, A. Griffin. Exactly. So listen, I don't care if it's a deputy. I don't care if it's a deputy coroner, somebody in training. I don't care who the hell wrote it. Here's the thing about it, y'all. Whoever wrote it, if they weren't qualified to write it and they didn't know the appropriate words to use and how to state the things that happened, then the person who's supervising them or training them should have stepped in and said, hey, this is how this is supposed to be done. This is how this is supposed to be listed. Because this right here is absolute and utter bullshit. Sorry, but it is. It's just like every other thing that they have put out. Bullshit. This is literally something that an 8th grader could have written.
Natasha,
This is people who did this, who did not care one bit about what they were doing.
And didn't think
Not
they
one
were going to
bit.
need to
They didn't care one thing about the person that they were writing these things down about, and they did not care one thing about this case.
Natasha,
Yes.
2 quick questions. One is, did you say that they have to mark every scar that's on the body on this piece of paper?
Mm-mm.
So they wouldn't have marked like her breast implants?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, they should have, but did they know? So, I mean, I'm not as concerned about the scars and things like that. I mean, those are surgery scars. So, yes, they should have listed those. Surgery scars are different than just cutting yourself on nail outside. But they should have listed those, but they didn't. So, I mean, are we surprised?
No, I'm not. I've only read one other autopsy report. It was Nicole Brown Simpson's, and I know you've read a ton. When you were reading the report to me, is it normal for them to mention that she was in a mental hospital and she had mental issues?
Well, the reason they have that listed in there, and I guarantee you that was an after effect, they did that to CYA. CYA.
Nope. Agreed. Okay, Natasha, my second question. I think like you, that she was planted at the scene or put there at the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I recall, there was an hour missing in the timeline, correct?
Well, depending on how long it took her to get there, which I don't think she ever got there, but depending on how long it took her from, so she left 41 Grocery and Grill at approximately 1:35.
And at 3:52 was the...
takes about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. There ain't no traffic. So if she drove the speed limit, it should have took her 40 minutes to get there. The only traffic she'll have is to get behind a tractor, because we did.
So there's some time missing, right?
Let's say 45 minutes to get to the park.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that would have put her at the park at the latest by 2:15. So then that gives us approximately 44 minutes that is unaccounted for.
Okay. When you were driving when you left, I guess that gas station that says 41 or whatever, Girl 41, you said the road was covered with a bunch of like tall corn plants and all that, correct?
On each side of it, yes.
Okay. And then you said that the attorney's land by river is 15 minutes, correct?
15 miles.
15 miles? How long would that take, do you think, via a boat?
Speed, traffic.
I'd say probably about 20, 25 minutes.
Do you think that between the park and the 41, she could have been like swerved off the road and people didn't see what was going on in the cornfields and they kidnapped her?
Anything's a possibility up there.
Took her down there to the lawyer's land.
No, because it's in the opposite direction.
Well, that would be worth it though, because there's still time missing and they want to cover their butts.
There wouldn't have been that much time for them to go to his property, get on the boat, and then go all the way there. Not before she made the 911 call.
Okay, then I have a second suggestion.
And
Does the river go up by...
Hang on, let me say this. I'm telling you right now, there is no way that anybody transported her there by boat. No way. She did not get there by boat. And I'm saying that because I've shown y'all how close the observation deck is to that slough entrance. There are always people on that observation deck. Any person coming in or out of that area by boat would have been seen by every person on that observation deck. Not only that, a boat the size that would have been needed to carry a body would not have gone in that slough without hitting everything that was under the water.
And the fisherman's boat would not have room for an additional person laying down?
Boat. It's a one-man boat. It actually fits in the back of his truck. It's not on a trailer. It actually fits in the back of his vehicle.
All right, I guess I'm out of questions. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you throw me down, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Throw you down.
Lynn, did you mean to come up here?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
This is the first time I think I've come up on a panel in 3 years.
It is. I'm excited. That's why I was like,
Well, this is kind of, I don't know, it might be a dumb question, but that entrance and exit wound is really bothering me.
Me too.
I've shot a 9mm before.
For a girl with small hands, they're fairly heavy. That entrance wound, the exit's slightly higher, so that indicates a little bit of an angle. But just everybody, take your hand, turn it inward like you're doing that yourself. It's a very awkward angle.
Well, if those measurements are right,
It's a very, because you're turning it, I mean, I can see pointing out like a regular target practice,
Right
but
to
you're
the
turning your
side.
hand inward with a very heavy handgun.
Yeah.
Placement is odd to do on yourself. Like if I was
Exactly.
imagining myself
So-
doing this to myself,
so,
which
hold
never, but
on,
if I am,
y'all.
I'm more
Hold
located.
on. Would kickback throw it like a slingshot out of her hand? Huh?
Around my temple versus
Right.
way over here above my ear.
Right.
And if it's going to go any direction of up, down, left, right, I would think that it's probably going to go more from the front exit wound, more behind her ear.
Kalita, she had a brand new vehicle. It was a Honda Civic, a brand new one. And I'm going to tell y'all this. Yeah, y'all please watch your words on the panel. But the thing about, this man, I do believe that a woman drove her car into that park. But I do not believe that it was Mica. And that is just my opinion. I think that somebody dressed like her and drove her car into that park. And the more that I hear, the more that I find, the more that I believe that.
That's big.
So, Tasha, I wanted to ask you a question because I tuned in right at the point where you were showing the screen of the different sizes and you were doing the different noise.
I just muted you by accident.
Okay, this is
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Deb just got lots of background noise. I was trying to... Why is it muting both of you when I mute one?
Muted myself.
No? Try... Unmute, Wyoming.
Okay, sorry, my kids are digging in the freezer, so I was trying to not have any noise.
No, it's okay now.
Okay.
Lynn, did you have any other questions?
I don't think so. It's bothering me. It doesn't look right. I've done a little research on it, which is not pleasant to do. I don't suggest. But typically, it's more exit more towards the top. The exit should have been more towards the top left.
Trajectory is not right.
The trajectory is not right.
I know.
I
That's the
said
first
that
thing I
when I
saw
first
today
saw
when I
it.
saw this. Trajectory is not right.
Even as like an experienced person that handles pew-pews and all of that, like that's an awkward freaking position to put your hand in and be able to keep that straight.
Now, I'm not saying one way or the other. Obviously,
Not
none of
up
us
to
were there, but
Sarah.
it looks more to me like someone who was more able to stabilize their hand.
Yep.
Ma'am.
It takes a lot of pressure to pull that.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'm going to be honest, and this is strictly my opinion. This report makes me understand why her father has the opinion of what happened that he has. And I agree with him.
Yeah, I do too. Well, that's all I wanted to mention because it's really bothering me, but you can drop me if you like.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming up. I'm just saying, y'all, her father said that it looks like somebody crushed her hand and held her hand to her head to make the wound, to have pulled off the shot, forced her. And his words were that her hand looked crushed.
That's cold blood.
Okay, we got some folks backstage. Hey, Robbie. They did not fingerprint the pew-pew.
Did
was
they
not
say they
connected. I don't know what's going on.
found residue on her hand?
Okay. Hey, Nicole.
That's a good question.
Hey,
Did you have
How
a
are you?
question? I'm good.
I do have a question.
All right.
My question is, how is it that nobody got to do an autopsy and JP just is it because he worked at a church, he had pull, he did everything so fast?
Well, the problem is it's not that that nobody got to. The law enforcement agency they ruled it as a self-unaliving. And in cases of self-unaliving, they don't do autopsies in the state of North Carolina.
I get that, but if the history that they had of him tracking her and all this, it just doesn't
They
make
didn't
sense.
I agree 100%, but they didn't take any of that into account. They listed all of her previous,
Mine too.
every time that she was in a psych ward, they listed those in that report for a reason.
North Cackalack
Okay, I
don't
understand.
care.
And they did it to cover their butts because they know they effed up too.
This case is I've been on this case, it just don't sit with me, and it's just it just doesn't line up.
No, Sunflower, there wasn't. Her restraining order had been denied, and the judge told her to reword it and bring it back.
That's horrible.
The fact is, and if y'all, I encourage you to look into this county and look at how many deaths there are ruled as unaliving, self-unaliving. There was literally a young woman in this county, same county, whose hands were cut off, and she was pew-pewed, and they ruled her death as a self-unaliving.
Now I have another question.
I told y'all early on about L-Town. I told y'all. Ever since I can remember. People, all the young ladies, as you get older, yeah, you can go here, go there, and go here, go there, go to this party, go to this, all these universities out here and stuff like that. But bypass L-Town. Okay, I don't care who you with. If they trying to take you there, if you gotta jump out the car, do so. For various reasons.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you feel about the 911 call? Do you think that was her? Or do you think that was, I know that iPhone, they have like that AL.
I don't know her enough to say whether or not that was her on the 911 call or not. Her family has said that they do not believe that it was her, that it didn't sound like her. So I am deferring.
I don't think people should even ask that question anymore. I mean, do we have the answer as to what it is? No, we don't. But to ask the question of, do you think it was her? How can we keep asking that question? It doesn't even matter anymore. Her own father got on the news channel, y'all. Go back and watch his interview yet again. Okay, earlier. And he said that don't sound like his daughter. And he elaborated on it a little bit. I mean, that's a full stop right there. What's wrong with y'all? Full stop.
To the family's opinion of her voice. Veronica, no, you cannot. Jesus, take all the wheels. Anyhow, I'm deferring to the family as far as their opinion on it, and they have said that they don't think it's her.
Yeah, because I know the father said something about like she had bruises on her.
According to the father, she had bruises on her upper arms, and her hand was completely crushed.
Now, because I'm a pretty big woman, and when I go visit my brother, he has pawpaws, and we play and shoot and whatever. And as big as I am, it's strong. Like I can barely keep a hold of it myself. So that's why it just doesn't make sense, And
I agree.
Well, I hope that everything comes, like they say, everything comes to light. So
for sure.
And thank you for adding me in your live. And
absolutely. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Bye. Tina, did you have a question?
Well, I guess I have a observation.
I can barely hear you.
I guess I have an observation. I want to bring someone.
Honey, I still can't hear you. Can y'all hear her?
Turn this up.
Very quiet.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh,
no, ma'am. It's still really, really low.
Oh, in case y'all just joining, this is Natasha.
No, ma'am. I can try to lean over here.
This is the TikTok from last night. Yeah, you can barely hear her. So we're going to have to skate.
We're coming up.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's just thorns. It's like little weeds that have thorns on them.
Okay.
But there weren't any down there. That's what I was saying. That's not true. Because there were none.
Oh, so he was talking about sticker
the
bars.
other thing was the phone. If it was foul play, in my opinion, why would they leave the phone? Could they still get phone records without a physical phone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, such a stupid
I
question.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can validate
Okay.
Natasha saying that. Her not being from there and not. I don't know if Johnny was asked this. That's where that would have to come from. Because who would have thought to ask it before now? It was never brought up until the coroner put it in a medical report. So then you would have to go back and ask Johnny, because if the water level is almost non-existent, then I don't think there are going to be any sticker bars. I'm trying to remember when they go away, but they need to feed off something. I don't know. A certain type of, just like a mushroom almost, but you ever had sticker bars on you? He's trying to say the bruises or whatever that the family said they saw, but JP said didn't exist. And I mean, does the exam say that the bruises are there? Well, he's calling them scratches. Came from sticker bars. Possible. However, if you have a DEAD weighted body, dragging it over sticker bars, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna get scratched up, but
Member coming up.
Natasha. Hi.
I just came to say I've never heard the full 911 call, just clips of it when it was first put out. But when I worked as a dispatcher, we were trained to try to keep the caller on the phone, which I know sometimes they hang up and you can't. But at any time, did the dispatcher try to talk her out of it?
No. As soon as she said what she was going to do, the girl said, "Okay, ma'am, now listen closely to me." And then she said, "Hang on just a minute while I make sure I got your right look." I don't think she knew what to do, so she was trying to get help. But unfortunately, in the process, she hung up.
okay. We doing this again. I kind of wish y'all would leave the dispatcher alone. I just do. I mean, it's the job itself is already major. That's major, and we want to keep these people as sane as possible. And everybody's not fit to do it, so no point in trying to ruin the ones who do, because it is a great chance that a lot of the people that they have interactions with can end up being, popularly known in popular cases. So we want them to be able to stay in their field as long as possible, and doing this doesn't help. I think in each and every case, somebody, and a lot of people actually, are gonna find fault in whoever the dispatcher is in that case, because that's what y'all do. You should be ashamed of yourself. Get your shit together, man. Like, really, there's so many different aspects of situations that y'all don't even stop, wait, and try to consider before you do that. And, okay, now, my perspective of the dispatcher. Who wouldn't have wanted to see it play out differently? But it's all good. I mean, she's a human. We don't know jack about Jack. We don't know if this was her first day. We don't know what was going on that day. We don't know what because every time something happens, it's like a above and below, a yin and a yang, a rhyme and a reason. So whatever was set off in her energy to put her in that zone, everything happens for a reason. And these events played themselves out the way that they were intended to play out, because that's what happened. Okay? Things don't just happen. So I think grace should be given, and I can automatically get this woman grace. I can't overjudge her about her job that I don't do and have never done and probably would never do. This is not a job that you can sit your behind down and type on the keyboard and be like, yeah, but if I was the dispatcher, I would have got her up out of there. I would have talked her down. You would have did a lot of things. We get it. We understand. Put you in there in the first couple of hours, you'd probably be traumatized for life, running out of there screaming. You just never know. But y'all don't even consider. And she could have been like Superwoman with every other call. And it could have been something about this call that kind of just, I mean, y'all don't hear nothing in her voice, and that's weird to me, because I do. And again, because I already talked about this, but since it's been discussed, when you take it from the top, and she called, and she's calm, and she's like, hey, I just want to make sure that you can find my location so my family can't find me, because this is what I'm about to do. she sounded very sure and, again, very calm. She didn't sound like you had much room to change her mind. She sounded like if you make the wrong move, I'm not even going to be on this line anymore. And in fact, what part about she hung up quickly did y'all not understand? So my perspective on it has been and will always be that the woman had to go within herself to be like, okay, how am I going to react here? I don't want to let on that I'm going to try to talk you out of this, but that's going to be super hard to do because you know that's my job to do it, so you know it's coming. But she knows that it's not even going to be tolerated by Mica. You can hear that in that call. You can hear that in her. It's not, she ain't even trying to play them reindeer games with you, baby. You can go and find you something else to do waiting your next call. Go take your lunch break or something. You pinging? Okay, cool. I'm out. And that's what happened. So I think she was she was at the beginning of what her plan would have been. And she got what she got out of it. And I think she did great. Because if she would have been like, oh my God, you're gonna do what? No 911 operator is even supposed to be acting like that. How do you guys think that every time we hear a 911 call in the case, y'all got the same complaints? Oh, they too calm for me. They didn't even try, and this, that, and the third. And then a lot of them, I get it, I see it, I agree, but again, we don't know jack about that job there. Unless you've done it, we don't know. And honestly, when I've heard anyone who has done it talk about it, they don't come like y'all come. They may express, or you can hear, a bit of disappointment, and I think that's just by proxy because we're not talking about that girl mama. Just can't leave Gypsy mama out of this. But I just think that it's a disappointment when you lose one. That's not what you want. So I think she did good. She said, okay, ma'am, listen what I'm gonna say, okay? Mica already knew. You still gonna try this? Well, you already know I'm not having it. Okay, click. And y'all sitting up here messing with this woman. Go sit your ass down.
My main thing, because
I'm pretty sure that she was new. Because that was horrible. I mean, I think she did the best she could, but I don't think she knew what she was doing.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
if we gon' that's their side and that's our side. I'm not gonna bash my girl. I'm not. We disagree, but I'm not gonna bash my girl. But I'm telling y'all, okay, I'm talking about y'all. Okay? I'm talking about y'all.
I had the same kind of call, and they did unallow themselves with me on the phone. So if they're determined, you can't stop it. But I just wondered if she ever tried to talk to her, or if she was just trying to get location the whole time.
Did you hear what the lady said?
She didn't.
Did you hear what the lady said? Former 911 caller. It's you're gonna know who they already coming with that. Don't you even try energy. This is that energy.
And even the way that the calls were dispatched doesn't make any sense. If you look at the dispatch logs.
That I didn't see.
Ashley, they have her time of death listed at like 3:00. Joni, nobody said that the dispatchers were corrupt. I didn't say the cops or the coroner was corrupt. I said they were obtuse and inept. Big difference.
Yeah, look that up.
Natasha, what I said, you can go on somewhere, because I never said she was corrupt to begin with.
Natasha, I was trying to ask you a question earlier about when I first came on, you were doing that picture, and then you were doing the sounds, and I'm just kind of curious because we know what she went in to go buy, and we know about the stuff on the ground or the grass or whatever you want to call that, with that black burn area. Like, what is your thought? Like, well, I mean, yeah, what is your thought process behind all that? Like, what do you think that was on the ground? What do you think was? I mean, do you really think that what she purchased was what was really used? Like, because like when you were doing those tonight, and like the whole the BB one, I've actually encountered a real life incident in a hospital with that situation that took place, and like the BB. And I'm not, and maybe it might be because where it was done, it wasn't done through the side, it was done through the chin area, you know, like that soft area. And so it never left. It just stayed in the skull the whole time and bounced back and forth.
Yeah, that's what people have to understand. Okay, so let me talk about that for just a minute.
Okay,
Because
yes, please.
I've seen a lot of people say, well, I have so-and-so that did this. Hey, Jesse. And they lived. Or I had so-and-so do this, and they walked, 100 yards and before they passed away. Or I had so-and-so do it this way. Because this is what you have to understand. Every person that chooses to shoot themselves, it depends on what location on their head that they make the shot, what kind of caliber the weapon is. It just depends, because different parts of your brain control different things.
It's crazy that you gotta tell grown folks this don't even make no sense. When you get an epidural, why is that difficult? Why is that difficult? You're already going through it. You got to do the most impossible thing. Be most perfectly still. Why? If it hit the wrong spot, you's paralyzed, right? Come on, y'all. Listen, we're pretty much at the half mark. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this one, clear out some space, and then we're going to do part 2. All right? Okay.